On this episode of the Naturist Living Show, the Nudist Expo.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show is brought to you by Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park. At Bare Oaks, we offer traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Free your body, free your mind. www.bareoaks.ca.
Welcome to episode 41 of the Naturist Living Show. My name is Stéphane Deschênes. I'm your host for this podcast. And I'm also the owner of Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park. And this is yet another record-setting month for listenership. And I'm again quite flattered. You'll recall we set a record in December of 2011, just a few months ago, with over 57,000 listeners. Well, the month of March 2012 is not quite finished yet. And yet, when I look at the stats today, we have already exceeded 75,000 listeners. That's 75,000 downloads of the podcast. Not just hits or page views. This is people who actually download the full shows, which are many, many megabytes each. So that's an incredible number. I'm stunned, really, because I remember maybe a little over a year ago announcing how we'd reached 100,000 total since the beginning of the show. Well, now we're getting close to doing that every month. I can't even imagine what the total would be at this point when we add up all the listeners to all 41 of these episodes so far. So thank you for listening, and I'm glad I'm producing something which is of interest and which gives me an opportunity to really get the message out there about the complexities of naturism, that it's not just about the nudity, that it's not just about being naked, and that it's so much more. And I'm glad so many people are interested in that message and listening to it. As we set records, there's no reason to stop. The momentum's exciting, and we should keep it going. So if you want to help, if you are a member of Facebook, you can go and like one of our episodes or each and every one of our episodes. If you are in iTunes, you can post a comment or just give it a thumbs up and give it a good rating. If you are in Google+, you can Google+ our page. So there's lots of ways you can show that the program is not just popular in terms of numbers of downloads, which I can obviously see, but for the rest of the world, if you let them know that you like the show, then that lets other people know that it's a popular show, and that will help improve our rankings and drive yet more people to hear the message about naturism. So get involved and give us a hand in spreading the message and getting more people listening to the show. Thank you. I'm always intrigued by all the different ways that people are looking to practice naturism, expand naturism in new areas. We now have, crews for the last decade or so, because somebody had the bright idea that let's rent a whole boat and see if we can fill it up with people, which of course they can now several times per year through the Bare Necessities cruises. People have, in France in the 70s, there was the experiment that we talked about previously about creating a whole naturist neighborhood, naturist village in Cap d'Agde, which of course has gone downhill, but initially was quite a fantastic experiment and still has huge potential if they can fix the problems there. So there's all kinds of new ideas, and so I was very intrigued when I got this note from Brian Spence about this first annual, hopefully is what he's planning on doing, Nudist Expo in Las Vegas. So I know Brian, we've met in the past with regards to the Nudist Clubhouse. So this was a good opportunity for me to give him a call and do a show, which I've been planning to do a little bit, to talk about the, first of all, the Nudist Expo, of course, and the social networking sites that specialize in naturism and nudism. The Nudist Expo. What the heck is a Nudist Expo?
Well, you know what? That's a really good question because, and people keep asking it over and over again, and they've been to expos before for different things. I've been a big Macintosh computer user for years, and I always go to the Macworld Expo in San Francisco. And while walking through the halls of Macworld and looking around at all of these different vendors with all the latest and greatest gadgets and gizmos, it just hit me one day saying, wouldn't it be great if all these exhibit booths had something to do with nude recreation? And so here we are, a Nudist Expo, a trade show where you can literally walk through exhibit booths of things of interest to nudists.
So can you walk through the show nude?
Unfortunately, no, and that's actually for a couple different reasons. First of all, we're going to have vendors there that aren't necessarily nudists. For example, a manufacturer of sunscreen is going to be there. And we also are viewing this as an opportunity where you can bring in your nudist friends and show them from one booth to the next what all of the different nudist clubs and resorts are like all around the world without them ever having to take their clothes off. And it's a terrific way to introduce someone to nude recreation who has never experienced it before. But that doesn't mean if you come to the Nudist Trade Show that there's not an opportunity to get nude. And when you're ready for that, we can talk about that in a few minutes because we are providing a nude experience in Las Vegas as well.
Oh, so it's in Las Vegas. And what are the dates?
June 1st and 2nd, and absolutely Las Vegas. When I came up with the idea to do this, we looked all over the place. I actually played with the idea of doing it in Southern California. I also looked at Orlando, Florida, and those two destinations just because of the large number of nudists there. But then New Orleans came up because New Orleans is a terrific place to have a convention because people are always looking for an excuse to go there, as is the case with Las Vegas. Las Vegas is the convention capital of the United States. They do trade shows and conventions there constantly. Every day of the week there's another show there. And I don't know about you, but I'm often looking for an excuse to go to Las Vegas. So now I can go there and learn about nude recreation, have a nude experience, and still enjoy all the world-class amenities that Las Vegas has to offer.
Yeah, it's easy to get to. There's always lots of cheap flights to get to Las Vegas, so...
That's right. And I always try to find a flight number with a 7 in it personally, but, there you go.
So if people want to come to Las Vegas, is it just for the day, or do you think they're coming for the whole weekend?
Well, we have events going all weekend long, starting with the trade show opening at noon on Friday, June 1st, and then Saturday morning we'll have our keynote speaker, and we're still waiting to get the final contract negotiations put together and hope within the next couple days to be able to announce who that is, but that'll take place on Saturday morning. And both Friday and Saturday nights, we're doing our nude pool party in Las Vegas. And that's actually taking place. Let's back up a step, because when you come to the convention, you need a place to stay. It's tough to fly in and out in the same day. You need a hotel room, right?
Right.
We have a nude hotel. We are actually doing a takeover of a small boutique property right off the Las Vegas Strip, just 2 blocks off the Strip, and we're making the whole hotel nude. And it's obviously limited to the number of rooms they have there. It's a smaller property. It's a boutique property. So you can stay there and have the nude experience and then go over to the trade show during the day. But Friday and Saturday nights during the show, we're having a nude pool party there, complete with a barbecue dinner, a DJ dancing, and they've got a large pool with a 10-foot waterfall, a jacuzzi, and even a steam room available for use.
Wow.
And we trust that those tickets are going to go fast. So if that's something you want to do, obviously, if you're a guest at the nude hotel, you get the advantage of first dibs on those tickets. But any other expo attendee needs to act quickly because there's a limited number of those tickets available. And once they sell out, they're gone. But there is that available to have a nude experience in Las Vegas during the show. So we've got the nude pool parties at night. We've got the keynote speaker Saturday morning. We've got the full trade show all day Friday and Saturday. And we're looking for a fun nude activity to do on Sunday. We think we have it nailed down, and again, your production schedule on your show is catching us just a couple days from making an announcement of what that's going to be as well.
But if people want to keep up on what's going on, where would they get this information from?
On the internet at nudistexpo.com. Okay. And the actual name of the show is Nudist Clubhouse Expo. The show is being sponsored by nudistclubhouse.com, which is a social networking website for nudists on the internet. and it is that website that's putting on the show. So you can find out more information about it at nudistclubhouse.com or go directly to the page with the information about the trade show at nudistexpo.com.
So tell me about the history behind this. I mean, you're taking a bit of a risk here. I mean, there's a lot of investment involved in getting this going and booking the venue. If people don't come, you're going to lose a bundle.
Well, I don't look at it that way. I look at this as going to be my largest success ever. You know, it's all good ideas start with a dream. And I'm an entrepreneur. I have been for a long time. As you probably know, my nudist history of starting a non-landed club in San Diego years ago called Naturally California. I also founded the matchmaking website singlenudist.com and ontonudistclubhouse.com. This is my latest business venture. And as with starting any new business, there's always a certain amount of risk attached to it. But I can tell you, since announcing the show and talking to people, this has been so well received. I'm not worried about that for a moment. The people are turning out. We have exhibitors coming from all over the country, and the pre-registrations are on target with the attendees to reach our goal. And I've been told by all the experts in Las Vegas that you get most of your attendees signed up in the last 30 days before the show. And as of right now, we're over 60 days out, and we've got a really good jump on those pre-registrations, and it's going to continue to grow. And if most of them come in the last 30 days, we're going to have no problem reaching our target.
And so what are you looking for? How many people do you expect?
My personal goal is to do over 2,000 attendees at the show, which will make it, at least in my memory, one of the largest nudist events in the United States, short of, the number of people that go on one of the bare necessities nude cruises. They'll get a few thousand at a time. But it's tough to find a nudist event that pulls in that many people at once.
Yeah, no, that's very impressive. And how many rooms in that hotel?
The nude hotel has 42 rooms, and as of right now, we are sold out of every size room except the topmost suites. And there's only a couple of those left. I don't suspect they're going to last through the weekend. So by the time you hear this radio program, if you do want to stay at the nude hotel, get in touch with us right away. Visit the website and see the instructions, see if we still have one of those suites available, because they are going fast.
Is there any special pricing in other hotels if people are looking for places to stay?
Yes, the actual trade show is taking place at the Alexis Park Resort, which is, if you're familiar with Vegas, it's near the intersection of Paradise and Harmon, about a block and a half behind the MGM Grand off the main strip there. And the Alexis Park does have a group rate available for us, and I understand they also have some other internet specials through their website, but if you do choose to book there, make sure that you give them a call and let them know you're coming for the Nudist Clubhouse Expo, because we do have group pricing available too, and they'll take care of you and make sure you get the best deal. So we do have a discount plan available right there at the hotel where the convention, the actual trade show, will be located. And they have plenty of rooms there. And that property, if you want a little more fun and want to stay at a gaming property, the Alexis Park is actually located directly across the street from the Hard Rock Hotel. So, the Hard Rock is right there if you want to go have lunch at the Hard Rock Cafe or go stay over there or play in their casino. Everything essentially located and within walking distance, and the Alexis Park is only about a 5-minute drive from the airport, so you don't even have to rent a car. You can take a taxi from the airport, stay at the Alexis Park, enjoy the trade show, and everything is right there and close for you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about Vegas is getting from the airport to the strip it's only a few dollars because they're so close.
Yes, and the Alexis Park is on the south side of the strip. For those wanting to stay at the Nude Hotel, we're not disclosing the actual location of it except to hotel guests and to people who buy the pool party tickets, because, quite honestly, this has never been done before, and we want to avoid the local TV helicopters from flying over at our pool party. But it's about 5 miles away, 5 miles to the north of the location of the Expo Hotel.
And so how much is this going to cost if somebody wants to come for the weekend?
Well, the trade show registration right now is on early bird discount, but that ends on March 31st, which is this weekend as your show airs. And that has been $15 for a 2-day pass has been the rate. Starting next week, the regular pricing, if you pre-register, is $25 for a 2-day pass per person. Or if you wait and just show up at the door, it's $20 at the door to attend the trade show. The keynote speaker, the pool parties, and our special event on Sunday are all separately ticketed items, and they all have different prices that are all outlined on the website. And
generally, hotel rooms in Las Vegas are very reasonable, right? Do you know what the group rate is at the hotel?
Yes, the Alexis Park has offered us a group rate of $79, and that's the price that I'm supposed to be advertising since that's on our contract. I will say that some of the attendees that have pre-registered have let me know that when they called in, there were other offers available that were actually less money, and it still counted as part of our group rate. So $79 is the price they told me to tell everyone, but I'm suggesting please call the hotel. Don't just book through their website and assume that $79 is the best price. Call them, say you're with our group, let them know the days, and ask them what their best deal is, because I think they have a couple other specials available too.
You know, that's amazing, because, you know, you can't rent a room at Bear Oaks for that cheap.
And I'll tell you what, Alexis Park is an all-suite property. So at $79, you're getting a suite.
It's amazing the prices in Vegas and how you can get these deals. So that's fantastic.
Yes, and watch all the billboards and the signs for all the prime rib buffets and everything else. I mean, everyone looks for an excuse to go to Vegas for the amenities of the hotels, the buffets, the food, the entertainment. And now we're bringing nude recreation into that mix for the first time. I like to say that most people go to Vegas to lose their shirts, but we're going to help them lose their pants this time.
Oh, very good, yes. So tell me, when you were planning this, how did it go? Like, what kind of reactions were you getting when you came to the venue and said, I want to have a Nudist Expo?
You know, it's the reactions have varied based upon which location I've talked to. And the location of the nude hotel, interesting enough, came to us. I was in the middle of contracting with a different property, and we were going to make them the nude hotel, and they were okay with it, and we were going back and forth. But in the middle of our negotiations, I got an email from the place where we ultimately booked it at, and they said, well, we'd like to be your nude hotel. And It's amazing how things fall into place, because their pricing was better, and it was a better option. They have a better pool, and the other place was wanting to charge us way too much money to do the buyout, so they appeared out of nowhere, and we moved our business over to the people who contacted us. And it's amazing how things just sometimes fall into place when an event is really meant to be. And it's made me very proud to be part of this and putting it together. And the number of people I've gotten to speak to, we're talking, business owners of hotels, people at the conference center. We're working with a destination management company. We're working with a professional expo company to come in and be the show decorator, to set up the pipe and drape in the hall. All of these people have learned about nude recreation pretty much for the first time because of this, and I'm very much enjoying educating the public and talking about it and promoting it. And every time they talk about our show, they all grin. They all get an ear-to-ear smile and say, oh, yes, the Nudist group. But it's all done very positively. They're excited about it. And I think there's a huge curiosity about who we are and what we do. And I can't wait to take nude recreation out of the woods and bring it to Main Street, or rather the Las Vegas Strip, and show the world who nudists are, what we stand for, and that you can have a lot of fun without your clothing in over 260 locations across North America and other places around the world. And on top of that, nudists mean business. We buy things. We buy sunscreen. We buy beach umbrellas. We buy beach chairs. So many things that we do that come to the marketplace that are specific to nudists. And we hope to be showcasing all of those things at the expo as well. And it's a huge public relation campaign for nude recreation and acceptance, and I'm just looking forward to mass success on June 1st and 2nd in Las Vegas.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you're doing a really good job of educating people, especially the general public. I'm assuming there's going to be lots of media going on around this as well?
We hope so. And you never really can say what the media is going to do. They have a mind of their own. But we're certainly putting the word out there and issuing out the press releases and doing everything in our power to get as much media attention as possible. But as we all know in the nudist community, if any one club throws a party or has an open house, they send out a press release, and they typically get a news article or a TV camera comes out, because the news media loves nudists, because, it's something they can tease all afternoon to watch the, film at 11 and see what's going on with the local nudist park. And never before has so many of our nudist organizations come together at the same place at the same time for a trade show. And I just can't imagine the media passing up on this opportunity. So I am anticipating a pretty decent amount of media coverage, hoping for it, and we're going to make this the nudist event of the year.
Cool. And when you were planning all this, have you run across all kinds of misconceptions that you've had to correct in terms of the business people you deal with?
It's funny you should ask that. I actually did encounter one that I found a little humorous. One of the ladies at the hotel from the sales and marketing team there that the expo is at, as I was walking through for a site inspection, she was concerned, and she looked at me with this concerned look on her face and says, "Now, the people coming to your trade show, when they're walking around our hotel, are they going to be carrying things?" And I, she kind of, with the look on her face, I knew what she was talking about, but I wasn't going to say it. I'm going to play completely innocent here and look at her saying, I don't understand. What do you, they may have an expo bag with the brochures and things they've picked up at the trade show, but what do you mean things? She says, adult toys. And obviously that's a huge misconception. And yes. I looked at her with, taken back with a look of shock on my face saying, "Oh my, who do you think we are?" And it opened the door for a terrific conversation about the fact that we're family oriented and that we adhere to a certain set of principles and standards and who nudists are and what we stand for. And she actually sighed a big sigh of relief and says, "Thank God, I'm so happy about that." And now she is like one of our biggest fans, and of all the sales staff at that hotel, I think she's very much looking forward to walking through and looking at all the booths herself.
Oh, that's great. And how are the associations, the Nature Society and Anna, reacting to your thoughts and your ideas here?
So far, nothing but positive. I did give a phone call and talk to Nikki over at the Naturist Society. She wished me very well and said she'd get back with me. I don't know if they're prepared to come exhibit or not, but there was certainly no negativity there. And as far as the American Association for Nude Recreation, they've purchased a booth, and President Susan Weaver has committed to being one of the speakers at the trade show. So we have full support from the American Association for Nude Recreation, and we're excited that they're going to be there.
Oh, very good.
In addition to that, my list of exhibitors is fairly short. If you've got the airtime, I'd like to list who we've signed up so far, because I'm so happy these people are supporting us.
Oh, yeah, sure. That'd be great.
We have an artist from, I believe, Tennessee. The company name is Au Naturel Organic Images, and he's going to be doing oil paintings right there on the show floor, and you can commission him to do a painting of you nude if you like. Of course, Bare Necessities Tour and Travel. We all know Nancy Tiemann. They're famous for their nude cruises. They're going to be exhibiting there. Castaways Travel. Our friends over at clothesfree.com, home of the Nudes in the News internet broadcast. Coming all the way from Florida, Cypress Cove Nudist Resort will be there exhibiting. Deanza Springs and Glen Eden, both from Southern California, will have a trade show booth there for their nudist resorts. Laguna del Sol and Mira Vista, obviously owned by the same people, and they'll be sharing a booth, and those are terrific establishments. Obviously, nudistclubhouse.com will be there, the website hosting it. The Noosa Sun, for those who aren't familiar, Noosa stands for Nudist USA, and they're a nudist publication based in Pasco County, Florida. They're a magazine, and they're going to be exhibiting at the show. Oak Lake Trails from Oklahoma. PANDA will be there. PANDA is an acronym that stands for the Pasco Area Naturist Development Association, obviously from Pasco County, Florida as well. Shangri-La Ranch from Arizona, the matchmaking website singlenudist.com. A real estate agent from Florida that sells properties and nudist resorts, the Sunbathers Clubs and Charles Rutenberg Realty. April Genter's her name, and she'll be there. If you want to move into a nudist resort, she can help you out with that. The Terracotta Inn from Palm Springs, California will be there. And last but not least, going through the list in alphabetical order as of today, we have the Touch of the Artisans will be there, and they are going to be doing chair massages right there at the expo with a new, interesting, high-tech twist that has never been done before with massages. I don't want to steal their thunder, but it's going to be something you're going to want to see. And I know they're putting together a lot of press releases on their own to advertise this new technology with massage and tying in nude recreation to it as well. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's the exhibitor list as of today, but we have over 2 months to go, and my phone is ringing every single day with people inquiring about having a booth. So there will be more than that, not to mention that's a whole day full right there of walking through the show, talking to people and picking up brochures of all these clubs you've never been to, places you want to visit, looking at artwork, getting a massage, booking a nude cruise. It's just a day of overwhelming amounts of information on nude recreation.
Wow, that's actually pretty good. You already have quite a few exhibitors. Sounds like there's a lot of fun stuff going on. It's going to be a great weekend.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And right on the trade show floor, we have a small theater set up. We call it the Nudist Theater. And scheduled to speak there, as I mentioned before, Susan Weaver, the president of ANR. Myself, I will be speaking there representing Nudist Clubhouse and also singlenudist.com and doing an event for the singles so they can meet each other there in Vegas. And also Tom Mulhall from the Terracotta Inn will be speaking about how to start a nudist business. And Nancy Tiemann will be doing presentations on exactly what it's like to go on a nude cruise if you've never done it before. So there's a lot of informational events and speaking to listen to and little presentations as well. And those presentations are all included in the price of the expo ticket.
So let's talk for a second actually about Nudist Clubhouse, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Why don't we start by describing, for people who don't know, what exactly is Nudist Clubhouse?
Well, the best way to describe Nudist Clubhouse in a way that people understand it is it's like Facebook for naked people. And it actually, I started Nudist Clubhouse several years back, and it came from an idea over a decade ago, back when I launched SingleNudist.com. I had some members of my little travel club in San Diego telling me that they would love to join SingleNudist.com, but they're not single. They're a couple. And the reason they want to join it is because they want to find other couples and meet friends, other couples, other singles, people to go to the beach with for the day or go visit this resort. They want an opportunity to find people online. And this was before social networking really took off. And I thought about it, didn't really know which direction to go with it. And then all at once the social networking explosion started, obviously with MySpace.com, which has now fallen prey to Facebook, as we know. But it took off. And then the idea just hit. Why not social networking for nudists? And I wrote the site from hand. All the code on nudistclubhouse.com was handwritten by myself. And it took a year to do that, about a year and a month from the time of starting writing the code until I actually launched the website. It was a terrific project, kept me busy and out of trouble for about a year. But set it up. We now have 23,000 members and an assortment of groups with discussions on anything from being a nudist 24/7 to where do you go nude in the Caribbean, all the way down to discussions about antique tractors and perhaps even model airplanes. We've got topics for everybody to discuss, everything pertaining to nude recreation or even things they just like to do in their lives, and people are making friends. We have in-person events for nudistclubhouse.com that take place through the year as well. Our next one is coming up April 13th, 14th, and 15th. We're going to be at Cypress Cove Nudist Resort in Florida for our annual spring event. Last year, that event brought in over 80 members of Nudist Clubhouse to Cypress Cove, and we're looking forward to perhaps breaking that record this April.
Now, there are many options. Obviously, you would like yours the best, but there are many options for online social sort of networking for naturists and nudists.
Yes, there are.
Some are free, some are with fees. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the difference between all of them? And obviously, why do you think yours is the best?
That's a loaded question to ask someone when talking about the thing that they've spent so much of their life developing and maintaining. But I'll do my best to answer that question. First, I'll touch on the fee issue. You can join Nudist Clubhouse with a free account, but it is limited. To get access to all of the features, we charge a very low fee of $5.99 a month. To have full access to the site. Now, why do we charge the fee? Because I know there are some out there that are free. But if you look at the quality and compare the free ones to ours, you'll notice that we have a lot more to offer. And the thing about the Internet, even though once you have an Internet account, you can pretty much surf over to whatever website you'd like to for free, those websites have expenses. We have to pay a server account every month, and for the bandwidth, and for the storage, and for the backups. And so the small fee of $5.99 keeps our site operational. A lot of the bigger sites out there like Facebook, you'll see advertising on the sites from major corporations. As of yet, we've been unable to talk major corporations into sponsoring and advertising on nudist-based websites. And until that day comes, just to keep the site operational, we charge $5.99. It's very affordable. Why is ours the best compared to so many of the other ones out there? I'm going to say it's because our site adheres to the principles and standards of the American Association for Nude Recreation. We keep it family-friendly. If you're looking for photographs of people with their feet in the air and their legs spread, you're not going to find them on our site. You're going to have to go someplace else for that, and let me tell you, the Internet is full of sites like that. What the Internet needs are sites for family-oriented nude recreation, and that's what nudistclubhouse.com stands for. We have a charter. We're actually a chartered travel club of the American Association for Nude Recreation and support their principles and standards 100%.
So, some people that I talk to, they say that they've tried participating. I've joined a number of these groups. I don't always have time to participate and follow all of them because there's so many of them. But I ask others why they don't do that, and young people in particular. One young woman who's a member at Bear Oaks said, well, she joined, but it was too creepy. I said, what do you mean? I said, watch this. So while I was watching, she joined one of these groups, not yours, but another group, as herself, and just put her pictures in the description. And within a few hours, she'd had like a dozen friend requests from guys who she's never heard of before, never knew or whatever. And she said, it's just creepy. And I said, wow, that is kind of weird, because when I join, of course, that doesn't happen because I'm a guy. What would you...
That's right. And as you know, in nude recreation, I mean, visit any nude beach or any nudist resort, there's typically more men there than women. They're outnumbered. And it's human nature to not want to live life alone. And so when you're in a community that is so lopsided, any female that shows up certainly is going to get a little more attention because of the gender imbalance. And the nice thing about friend requests is you can always push deny. You can always make your profile private. Anyone that causes a problem, you can first of all block them. But second of all, on nudistclubhouse.com, you can push a button called report where you tell us what they've done. And if their behavior is something that's contrary to the principles and standards that we stand for, we will not hesitate to terminate that account. Well, I know that every female that joins, whether it's our site or someone else's, is going to get more attention than the guys, and that's simply because of who we are as nudists. We're unbalanced in gender. We do everything we can to keep the creepy ones away.
With your own group, do you find that's working?
I would say compared to all the other websites out there, we're having the most success in doing so, and I have a lot of members that will back me up on that. But at the same time, the internet is the internet. And when someone shows up at a nudist resort for the first time, many resorts have a screening process where they'll, interview the person first, or even give them a golf cart tour around the resort just to get to know who they are before they set them free by the pool. Mm-hmm. We have our own screening process in place on nudistclubhouse.com that has to do with taking a look at where they're coming from, what their IP address is, what country they're from, what type of photo they upload, because we require them to upload at least that primary picture so we know who they are. We take a look at all of these things, put it together, and use with that our experience of running nudist websites for over 10 years, and make a good judgment call. A lot of times, if they don't give us any reason to be alarmed, we'll let them in to keep them watched for a while and see if any reports come in. If a report comes in to a new user, they're gone instantly. We are very protective of maintaining the principles and standards on the website, but realizing, yes, it is still the internet, and every user of the internet, even us guys, need to be careful of what information we put out there publicly.
So yeah, there's always that suspicion, right, that the 18-year-old woman is actually a 44-year-old guy. So you find that you are able to patrol that to a certain extent?
To a certain extent, we do patrol that. Certainly, some people that set up a fake account like that, and for what reason they do that, the reasoning behind that still is a mystery to me. But the people who do that, some of them are better at it than others. Some are very easy to catch, and we catch them instantly. Others take a little longer to catch on. But ultimately, in the end, we do figure out who they are, and then they're gone.
Last word then on Nudist Clubhouse. Why should people come over and take a look?
Because we've entered into a new online world. Print publications are starting to fade away, and the source of getting information about the things you care about is changing. And Nudist Clubhouse is paving the way of how to find nudist events to go to, how to research different clubs, how to meet different friends to spend time with. This is your future resource of what is nude recreation. It's available at your fingertips. It's on the internet. And when you choose your source you're going to get information from on the internet to supplement your nudist life, make sure you choose a site that sticks to the principles and standards of the American Association for Nude Recreation or something similar, so that all the new people on the internet that keep running into sites like ours will understand who nudists are and what we stand for, and don't confuse us with adult entertainment like a lot of the other sites have done.
So in terms of social networking, online communities, whatever you are, there are many, many options. Certainly the Nudist Clubhouse is a good one, but there are many free alternatives, as you heard us discuss in the interview. I won't go through them all because there's so many of them. They're ubiquitous. In fact, I was part of one of the earliest online communities on a system called CompuServe. hate to tell you how long ago that was, but let's say it was about 3 decades ago. It was an online system, but it was before the internet was accessible by the public. And so we dialed in through telephone numbers that were all over North America to a central system. And it was all text, but there was already naturist and nudist communities. And when I first joined the internet in the late 80s, that was before the World Wide Web, there was discussion groups, which were a little bit like news groups and bulletin boards, which I'd been frequenting prior to that. And in the those, which of course those still exist, was one called Rec Nude. The news group Rec Nude still exists. Of course, it's full of spam and not nearly as popular for serious discussion as it used to be. But it still exists, and so it's really nothing new. The interface has changed, and the way that we do things has changed. But generally, the discussion forums have been around for decades and decades and decades, and there are many of them. You can do them through email, you can do them through chat, you can do them through Facebook itself, which is, of course, the most common and most popular one right now. There was one on Ning, which I believe is closed, called Skinbook. Somebody has revived a version of Skinbook on Facebook. There's all kinds of alternatives out there. And so I don't want to say that one is necessarily better than the other. Obviously, Brian talked about his own, and I'm a member of that one. I'm a member of many other ones as well. So look around and see what you can find if you think that's a good way to meet people and communicate. But of course, naturism has to be practiced out in nature, and the community is with others. So these are only in-between solutions. They are ways of connecting and trying to organize things, but you can't really be a naturist sitting by yourself in the computer in a room. You must go out there and meet people and commune with nature in order to really get that feeling of what naturism is all about. Well, that's all for this episode of the Naturist Living Show. Thank you, as always, for listening, and of course, for listening in such large numbers. My name is Stéphane Deschênes. As I said at the beginning of the show, I'm your host and the owner of Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park. You can find links to all the items I've mentioned, not as many today, but there's a few, in the show notes, and that's on our website at naturistliving.bearoaks, that's B-A-R-E, of course, bearoaks.ca. And you can also keep sending comments and suggestions. I always appreciate the feedback. The email address for the show is naturistliving@bearoaks, B-A-R-E, bearoaks.ca, because we are in Canada. Join us again in about a month for the next episode of the Naturist Living Show.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show was brought to you by Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park. Traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Traditional values means that naturism is more than just taking your clothes off. It is a life philosophy with physical, psychological, environmental, social, and moral benefits. Bear Oaks Family Naturist Park strives to promote those naturist values in a modern setting that provides the amenities and services that our members and visitors expect. Free your body, free your mind. Learn more at www.bearoaks.ca.